Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea, and welcome to a GSL qualifier match. For the first time, I think ever, GSL decided to release the replays of the qualifying matches of the GSL qualifiers, which is really sick. For years, people have been asking for a broadcast, people have been asking for replays, but now with their Patreon setup, which they use to fund the prize pool and well, to fund the tournament in general, they decided, you know what, we'll release at least the qualifying matches. Now, I would have absolutely loved to have every single replay, because then we could have followed player runs through the qualifier, which would have been so freaking sick. But this is really cool anyway. As we're starting here with Classic in the top left on Babylon as our red Protoss player. And in the bottom right, a player that a lot of people know, as he's won a WESG, 200 grand there. He won an Intel Extreme Masters Katowice in 2017 against Stats in the finals. I'm talking about TY. Indeed. Alright, let's have a look at this. TY. Now, he has played in the previous GSL Season 1 qualifier, in which he ended up losing to Scarlet twice. Did manage to beat Armani, though, who is no slouch, no pushover. But still. Yeah, this time around against Classic here. Actually, in the match before this, managed to beat Scarlet. In the upper bracket, TY lost to Scarlet. And then in the lower bracket, because there's a double elimination, he managed to take out Scarlet to put himself into this qualifying match. CC goes down. Now, this CC went down about 9 to 10 seconds too slow. As we have too little gas income here. Yeah, pulled out of gas. That means we're going to be seeing most likely a triple CC opener here. Sometimes this goes into a 3-Rex, but given that the map is Babylon, I am fully expecting a triple CC. This really is the build of smart Terran players. Now, I don't like the brag, but I play triple CC on Babylon every single time when I play Terran against Protoss. It is just such a powerful build order that really has no solid counters. No counters that TOS can do in a reaction. There might be some blind counters, which would be difficult, thinking of like some of Astrea's fast triple Nexus play. That might actually be kind of hard to fight against, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see. For now, this does not look great, because it's going to be a Stargate versus Stargate gets scouted as well. This is legitimately the worst case scenario for the Protoss, opening up with a Stargate against the triple CC. Now, let me actually explain to all of you why triple CC is so popular on Babylon and why this is generally considered a Terran map. It's all because of this cliff. Now, this is not just a terrible cliff to blink in, like it is, you know, it's kind of busy. There's lots of minerals, just kind of messing with your Stalker AI, but there's also not that much space in the main base. The defensive rotation is quicker than the aggressive rotation, a lot quicker, and there's not a lot of space to micro your Stalkers. Like, you can't really kite Marines away. Like, you're stuck so quickly in your opponent's base as well that 4-gate blink or 3-gate blink is practically impossible. Now, there's always a good test, knowing whether 2 or 3 or 4-gate blink is difficult to play. You basically just watch any MaxPax game against Terran, and if MaxPax doesn't play 3 or 4-gate blink, you know the map isn't good for 4-gate blink, because he freaking loves that build, and if he can get away with it, trust me, he'll do it. That's not the case here, and as a result, a lot of Terrans have resorted to this triple CC play, which allows them a very solid eco in the early game, which allows them some good aggression in the mid game, and generally just sets you up well. And if we're talking about bad build order luck, Classic has probably the worst build order here that he could have gone for. Phoenix into Robo, into 4 gas, pre-third phase. Now, why is this so bad? Because your Nexus starts well after the 3rd CC and the orbital command are finished. On top of that, you invested a lot in Phoenixes, which have no real purpose at this stage of the game. The reason why Phoenixes usually are so good is because you're basically telling the Terran, hey, if you move out with a medevac, with a mine drop, or if you have a Raven, these units are in serious danger. You know, like, my Phoenixes are going to find them. You can't deal damage against me. So a Terran that will have invested into a medevac and a mine drop is going to be sad. A Terran that has invested in a 3rd CC and a turret in their main base is not going to be very upset by seeing these Phoenixes out. Like, these Phoenixes should not be capable of achieving anything. And they aren't. They really shouldn't be. I don't even think they should be getting workers here. It's so easy to split your Marines up to make sure that you don't get any damage from these Phoenixes. Don't forget that people will look at it and say, well, what if Classic just built 7 Phoenixes? Well, if Classic built 7 Phoenixes, that's going to heavily cut into the follow-up tech of the Protoss player. Things like thermal lance, things like Colossi, a Forge, perhaps a Twilight is going to be impossible because this build that Protoss is playing is extremely limited by gas. So the more you invest into Phoenixes, the slower your follow-up tech, the weaker your army is going to be. Phoenixes are great for having control, like kind of pace of the game, but if you can't build any sentries because you went for 5 Phoenixes and your Forge and Twilight are delayed by 17 minutes because you thought it would be cool to pick off 3 more Marines, then most of the time what ends up happening is you're set up with a very big all-in type of army that can't actually properly transition into the later stages of the mid-game. You're basically all-inning your opponent, and that's not quite what you want to do, especially given the fact that it was a successful triple CC opener here out of TY. Now, worker counts are even and supplies look very close. There's a good reason for that because these 3 barracks aren't done yet. These barracks have not produced. That's a lot of money invested in infrastructure that has not paid off yet. Do see Classic with an insane push out here. I love this. That's a great force field as well. Brilliant little move, forcing units in towards the main base and then just picking off this bad boy. But at the same time, the double drop was already on the map. I was wondering where the other units were, and well, they were on the other side, taking out a lot of probes here. Can still go in towards the main base. TY actually struggling with that pickup. Perhaps hasn't played as much as he would have liked. And he's going to lose a bunch of Marines, but takes out a good chunk of workers at the same time. 8 workers killed. Classic did kill 15, though. That is significantly more. What? No, this is not possible, dude. These are Marines. Marines don't fight very well against Colossi. What a huge blunder out of TY. Huge blunder. Don't understand it at all. That was some nice control there, taking out that Phoenix, but stimming into 2 Colossi with thermal lance, with a pure Marine army. That is the definition of insanity. If dictionaries had videos, there would be a little gif, a little gif playing of that engagement. Just going into the Colossus. That's insane. That was legitimately insane. That made no sense. That cost him quite some energy on his lone medevac, because he stimmed all of those Marines. He lost a couple of Marines there as well. And actually gave Classic the ability to be out on the map again. Now, Classic did warp in a crap ton of sentries for that initial push, and as a result, Charge as well as +1 are kind of delayed. Templar Archives is now on the way. He's playing this off of 5 gases, not 4 gas, not 6 gas, no 5. Classic is precise like that, you know? He's not an even Steven. You know, you have these guys, you know, they're taking 4 gas, then 6, then 8. And Classic is precise. He cares about the exact gassing. You know, 5? That's slightly better. I can afford 2 more adepts in my army composition at 823. Like, alright. You do you, bud. You do you. And he's gonna go set up for a bit of a pushover here. 2 Colossus, 1 Immortal, 2 Archons. Now, Archons are really a telltale sign that a Protoss wants to push, because Archons lose value the longer the game goes. The moment the Ghost is out, the Archon is useless. As we're going to be moving in here, 3 tanks in position. This seems like a wild fight to take, but there are no Ghosts in position. There's a lot of Marines in this army. Target fire on the Marines is not great. Okay, now we get a couple of big swipes in over here, as the hallucinated Colossi is actually tanking a crap ton of damage, but I'm not so sure if there's enough on the ground here for Classic. 1 tank, no, 2 tanks still remaining. We get a new warp in over here. Observer gets sniped, and I think Classic will be forced to retreat right now. I think a solid move here would be get the Prism speed, throw a couple of Zealots in there, and just defend. Get some Zealot run by setup as well. Maybe go up to 10, 12 gateways. We see a 6 gas now being taken here on the fort base, as well as a battery. This hallucinated... Like, you just scouted that there's no fort base, while you're on 4 bases already. 73 workers. This is solid eco over here. So, it is clear as day to me that TY wants to be pushing out, probably in the next 30, 40 seconds or so. So what you want to do is you want to get a good defensive setup, have some nice map vision, and then delay delay with anything that you can delay with. So whether that's Zealot run-bys or whether that's going to be a Prism into the main base or perhaps a combination of the two, I don't really care. It's just so important that you manage to get that delay. Now, it's going to be a triple Ghost timing attack here with 4 tanks, 8 Vikings. This has a lot of potential, but anytime there is a big tank attack, don't forget... Ooh, Vikings just sniped the Prism, didn't they? That's actually kind of a big deal. That means that the only threat that Classic has over here is over ground. And that's easier to defend often. Like, Prisms are so hard because you need to have units in your main and at your third at the same time. Now, Zealots are trying to move in or at least do something. This Zealot does not provide a whole lot of vision. We're gonna get a push out here 100%. If we don't get a push out, I'd be freaking shocked. I'd actually be shocked. Like, this is such a perfect timing to move out as well, right? You got your lips, you got your tanks. Now, what I was gonna say is that don't forget that tanks are often slow pushers. That's why massive Zealot run-bys are so good against them. Because you can delay with your disruptors while your Zealots are dealing damage on the other side, making the Terran perhaps a bit more desperate. This is some great movement here out of TY. Classic was expecting an attack over here. This is going to be a base trade instead right now. Zealot run-by is coming in into that third base, as this fourth base will get sniped immediately. I don't think Classic had any clue that this was happening. He's pulling the workers away right now, though, as he starts preparing for a massive base trade scenario. Zealots over on the third base are fighting SCVs and trying to get a bunker as well. The problem here is that Classic is going to lose all of his production, while TY has a pretty solid setup at home. He has 2 Liberators in position. He has a couple of bio units behind it as well. I don't think you can just blink up on here. Bases are being taken out at a very high pace. Army supply and honestly army composition wise. Oh my god! He is going in! That seems like a massive blunder here. This was not an efficient fight at all. Loses all of his Colossi. I was gonna say his army comp seems so much better than his opponent. I almost wish he would just go back home because he still had okay worker counts. Perhaps could have saved a couple more. I guess these 2 orbitals that are still alive are really going to be an issue. Another blink in? You can't be serious. He just keeps going. As this Liberator is still dishing out a lot of damage. Prism will end up falling. Classic is in the main base. 80 supply to 86. Is there enough cash to rebuild a Nexus? Yes, there definitely is. 5 Zealot Warp in. 3-2 upgrades. Oh, I'd love for these to finish. That would be such a huge benefit here to Classic's army, who actually is doing completely fine. Well, I'm not entirely sure, honestly. Look at this. Look at the chrono boost on this +3. It's like, oh, please, guys. Please give me +3. Please give me +3. If he gets that +3, that would be really big. It would really be big. Yep, he's gonna get it. 20 more seconds now. If you can take out 1 orbital, that would be a really big bonus because it makes it so much harder here for TY to go into a macro game. If all of his buildings do get home safely, and he has triple orbitals throwing down mules, the fact that he's down 20 workers doesn't matter because mules are so ridiculously good. Take out 1 orbital and all of a sudden it's a little bit different because Classic, also capable of double expanding, is eventually going to take care of this. Now, there is a depot wall over here, as TY is holed up in this natural of Classic. This is one hell of a game for my first TY game to watch, by the way. Pretty freaking sick. Oh, I like this as well. Upgrades heavily favoring, of course, Classic. 3-1 versus 1-1. This army is sick. This is such a sick move out. I love that. I really like this. Needs to recall immediately. I'm not so sure if he's going to be capable of doing that. Uh-oh. His army is looking for something. If he goes for these 2 Zealots, I'd be somewhat disappointed. Okay, here we come with the recall. What? No! What did you recall? The probes! Oh, no. Now you lose that base because that was the unluckiest timing in the world. This Nexus is also in some serious trouble here. If he cancels it, he can't rebuild one. That's it. 356, he's all in. No. That means that these are the last buildings remaining, and guess who's standing right next to it? Indeed, that's Classic. Freaking, oh, sorry, that's TY. Look at freaking Classic just building all these pylons around the map as well. I mean, now he's being revealed. And I mean, this is such a clean tell here for TY to come home with his army, The setup defensively, yeah, it's gonna send over the barracks. He wants to re-wall this as well. EMPs are gonna connect. This is game over. He can do this. Disruptor shots coming in right now, but a target fire is good enough. GG gets called. SteelY wins a very unlikely game number 1 here on Babylon after a powerful triple CC opener. Game number 2 here on Grassvan. SteelY seems to be opening up with... Well, this could be loads of things, but it's going to be a fake proxy. Yeah, it's going to be a fake proxy over here. Now, what do we call a fake proxy? What is a fake proxy? What's the goal of a fake proxy? There are no answers to these questions. No one really knows why people play it. Terrans have started playing this somewhere 17 BC. And they've continued doing it. We believe that it's a powerful tradition within the Terran race, but it seems to have no real purpose that we're aware of yet. Like, we've investigated this quite a bit. When you ask Terrans, they'll give you reasons. But they themselves also know deep down in their hearts that it really is just a fun tradition. You know, they build their barracks on their own side of the map. Let me play the Terran here, okay? I'll play the Terran and the interviewer. Hello, Mr. Terran. We've noticed you built your first barracks in a proxy location. Why did you do this? Wouldn't it be better to proxy it closer to the opponent's base, so then your Reaper would arrive quicker? Yeah, that's a good point, but this allows me to force a response out of the Protoss while still quickly getting a reactor at home as well, and thus quickly starting Marine production. Right, interesting. But wouldn't it be smarter in that case to just build the barracks in the main base? So then you don't also have to do the flying, which is probably an entire round of Marines. Like, it takes about 10-12 seconds to fly over. Like, that's almost an entire round of Marines. If you really care about the Marine count so much, wouldn't that be better? Like, yeah, it's a good point, but we often feel like that we do manage to provoke a response, like get a Zealot out there, or yeah, you know, just something out of the Protoss. Like, all right, that's what they'll say. I did get a Zealot out here, and Zealots generally are considered to be useless for Protoss. I do agree with that. But at the same time, as a Terran, you're completely in the freaking dark with this. Like, you have legitimately no info at all. And as a Protoss, once you see this happening, you still know that the reactor is going to be pretty much delayed, and any type of follow-up pressure is just going to hit quite a bit weaker because it will have 2 less Marines than one in the main base would have. A double Reaper play is often also fairly unlikely. I'm just not a huge fan of it. I'm really not a huge fan of it. You're also losing some minerals trying to mine. Can't believe that this Reaper is actually dealing damage. This is so upsetting to me. This is actually so upsetting to me. This is... Well, it's gonna get maybe 1 or 2 kills here. Salah's actually doing something for the first time in his life, but Cyclone's about to pop out, 321. I am not sure what Classic was thinking here. This is a very normal timing for the Cyclone to pop out. He wanted to commit to this. Almost lost an Adept, lost a Zealot. Not a huge fan of all of this. Siege Tank is on the way right now, and this cost TY quite a bit of money. Couldn't even afford his orbital command. It's cutting SCVs at this point. So we have a second barracks that now starts its stim, I guess. Look how much gas TY has. He's just floating 300 gas. What type of build order is this? There's gonna build Reapers behind this? And he needs to use the gas on something, right? I just don't know what he wants to use it on. He already has a new siege tank. It's gonna go combat shield. This feels like some 2-Rex tank all-in almost. Classic, as always, follows this up with a Stargate into a robotics facility, into extra gases here. So there's a blind battery in the natural. This Reaper should die, I think. Does it die? Feels like it would. No! Survives with 5 HP. That wasn't even close. I just looked at the colors, not at the HP. I was like, oh, that's a yellow color on that Reaper. He's gonna die in 2 shots. Well, not always, apparently. Phoenix tries to pop in here. It's not quite going to get big information. Now, for us, this is really simple, right? You get your full info, and we know what's kicking off. But For the Protoss, this is really scary. Like, flying in with a Phoenix can be tricky if there's a Cyclone out and if there's plenty of Marines. Okay, tank does get spotted. No air units have been seen yet, but it's difficult to make a hard call here to say, hey, this is going to be a tank Marine push. But it is, and ideally against that, I think we're getting a Disruptor, is what we should be doing. That's not quite what Classic is doing here. Instead, he's getting a battery up here. He's getting 2 sentries. This Observer is going to really be quite useless. This is a powerful push, but it does not have stim, which once again would make a Disruptor so freaking powerful, so valuable. Cyclone gets sacrificed. We will not be seeing you again. Now, there's no high ground vision here, which might make this attack a little bit harder. But there is 3 tanks. I think you have to deny high ground vision here almost. Oh, no super battery is available yet. First tank does get sniped. Nice control out of Classic there. Very solid stuff. Making the best out of a, quite frankly, awful situation. This is not a push that TY can continue into the super battery. Really just needs to piss off and take out this third base and then get on out of here, son. That's what you want to do. Turret gets constructed. Interesting call. When I say interesting, I don't quite understand why. I guess it wants to not get lifted by Phoenixes, but seems like a bit much. Here comes the Colossus. It's just going to get targeted down. Target fire of the tanks is good. As the Immortal falls, this base is toast. And with this base, I don't want to say that Classic is also toast, but it does look pretty poor. Don't forget, this is a significant investment. TY has no workers on his natural at all. And that means that as long as Classic survives, he's going to be just fine. I'd love to see another battery. I would have loved to see that battery 20 seconds ago. Now, I also didn't say, hey, get a battery there. But I wish that Classic would have. Classic should be better than I am. He should have had that battery ready already. Super battery is about to be back online. No, you can't go in there, man. What you doing, buddy? As he still has 1 Phoenix remaining, but that's not enough to pick off reinforcements. That's perhaps what that Void Ray is for that we're seeing. Now, Stim is on the way. 3rd CC is well coming in right now. And the longer this contain goes on, the better it's going to be for TY. As we have a Proxy Pylon, we have a Twilight Council as well being added in here, which is interesting. Perhaps for Charge? Perhaps for Proxy DT, but Proxy DT would be really bad. Tanks are finding good angles here. Taking out the robotics facility would be so big. That would be such a massive deal. Oh, super battery gets activated. TY immediately realizes, pulls back those tanks. Some really good control here. Fabulous stuff, honestly. Pulls back those 2 tanks, and that's a game changer. If these 2 die, all of a sudden TY's position weakens so much. Void Ray is eyeing this angle. It's not quite going to get it. As a new bunker pops out. Oh, no, it's going to be turrets. I think more turrets into this position will make it impossible to break. Like, legitimately impossible. There's a 5th tank now showing up as well. As TY's contain is looking enormous here. Proxy Nexus gets constructed. I think this is a good play. Pushing forward will be difficult for TY due to the thermal lens, due to the existence of batteries and super batteries and all of that type of stuff. Oh, Void Ray once again looking for an angle. Oh, will not even get that SCV. The control of TY here in this game has been very good. As he adds in 3 more barracks. 3rd CC is now done. Oh, I'd almost love for this Zealot run by to go to this base rather than try and go for the break. I actually would prefer that. I think I would prefer that. He's showing the Zealots now. That's a bit early. I mean, there's really not that much at home, is there? Oh! Tries to go for a surround on this tank. Will not quite get it. Needs to be so careful, though, with these Zealots. They don't have charge yet. Here comes the Stim. Oh, no. You can't be serious. Tank survives. And these Zealots will end up dying. What a blunder here by Classic. Who is honestly failing some skill checks here. That was a blunder. Not getting the tank, but also just going pre-charge. Not setting this across the map. I think these are all major issues, and losing all those Zealots sucks so much, because eventually you're going to break out of here anyway, right? With the help of the Colossus range, I think you're going to be fine. You can crawl forward with batteries, use the super battery to clear a tank line one at a time. This Zealot run by was supposed to be a real game changer. Phoenix is just flying around. I still like this plan here for Classic, but it would have been so much stronger, A, if it was a surprise, and B, if we wouldn't have lost 6 Zealots first. Because that is not great. Okay, here comes the 1 mine. Oh, Classic. 6 zealots there eating the splash. That means that this defense is now so much easier here for TY. And I'm still going to take a little bit of damage, but why? The Phoenix spotted everything. His classic is really just kind of messing up in this game so far. Perhaps a little bit nervous playing against TY. Saying, hey, I'm not supposed to lose to this guy. I'm the 3rd best Protoss in the world. And this guy came back out of retirement. He's been in the army for the past, 18 months or so. He's been playing again for 4 or 5 months now, but still. Yeah, this is pure chaos. This is pure pain. Do not enjoy this at all. Do not enjoy this. Oh. Classic is mining from that 3rd base, and I'm surprised that TY hasn't scouted that yet. I think that should be something that he, should be searching for, should be looking for. This is the never-ending contain. This contain's been going on for months. Resources are difficult to get by in the compound. We've been stuck here. Everything smells like piss. Oh, Disruptor gets targeted down. As here comes the breakout. Yeah, that's a solid one though. Does take out a lot of the tanks, all of the tanks even. Archon's getting microed back. Good control out of Classic as he finds back his stride a little bit here. 109 supply to 132. That 3rd base still so vulnerable though. That's an absolute key location here. Classic tries to engage into another base trade, but even saw the pickup, I'm pretty sure. Blink gets started. Forge gets cancelled. Upgrades are so bad here for our Protoss player as well. I think TY might just be doing this. 121 supply to 140 right now. Is there a possibility of a straight up win? No, there's not. There's too many tanks, simply said. Too many tanks. I'd love to see a Ghost Academy being added in as well over here. Yep, there we go. Very good call by TY, because he saw the high Archon count and he's thinking, wait, the one way I could lose is if I don't have Ghost. Oh wow, this is another way to lose actually. Okay, scouts this base, immediately picks up 2 Marine drops. That does make it scary though, because this is... I mean, it's not the strongest army, but it's a powerful army nonetheless. This really is a powerful army. Double drop in towards the main base. We're gonna get another base trade, aren't we? TY on the map with absolutely everything. Pulls the boys. Tanks need to start sieging up. As the one in the back finally does. Target fire out of the tanks has not been quite brilliant. Classic does break through, but at what cost? Loses his 3rd base, is in the process of losing his entire main. There's still some Marauders here as well. With the healing of those medevacs, I don't think the damage output is enough for Classic. I think Classic has just died as he walks into a turret, taking out this one Colossus. 11 kills on the Colossus, 1 kill on the turret. As Purification Novas are looking for targets, are not finding them. And the consistent damage output of this army is simply too low. Mules get thrown down at this base again as TY realizes that he has won this game. He's like, I feel so secure, I feel so safe. I can mule this 3rd again. I don't give a crap. I'm in your main. I'm in your 3rd. Well, I used to be in your 3rd when there still was a 3rd. Gonna be in your natural soon. GG gets called. TY qualifies for the GSL in Season 2 by taking out perhaps the 3rd best or 2nd best Protoss worldwide here in Classic. Impressive performance. And yeah, that's going to be it for me today. If you did enjoy this, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. In the next upcoming days, we will be doing more of those qualifier matches that I have. So yeah, be sure to stay tuned for that. And I'll see all of you next time for a new video. Thanks so much for watching, and bye-bye.